Maplewood chose to build a purpose-built all-memory care community for folks who are in many stages of the disease process. And we felt the need to have a dignified, mature, adult, successful community. We designed it in a way where we're able to adapt the communities and the neighborhoods for the needs of the residents and not vice versa.
We wanted to create a home-like environment. We wanted warm, natural colors. We used a lot of stone and a lot of wood to really make it feel like home. We have a variety of spaces for residents to use, both interior and exterior, both intimate and group settings. We're really trying to bring their lives back to them.
When we looked at building a purpose-built community, one of the important features that we wanted to look at were the hallways. We didn't want it to be a long hallway. We wanted every opportunity for the residents to have something visually available to them.
So one of the things that we were very conscious about was creating destinations along the way. We have a variety of spaces for the residents, ranging on all 3 floors. Each floor does have the living room, a dining room, a library, in addition to other rooms such as an art studio, an educational facility. You can't turn down a hallway without finding a space, a new destination or activity area to explore.
In this setting, we were able to create an environment where the residents are never looking to leave the setting because there's just so much wonderful space for them to go to. If they want to be a part of a group, they can be a part of a group. If they want to have some time by themselves, there's so many different engagement areas throughout the community that they have the opportunity to go to without somebody telling them that they can't.
So at the end of the hallway, even though the hallway ends, it ends in a beautiful bright sunroom, which allows them to become engaged. So there's no moments where they feel as though they can't go somewhere. The flow of the building is designed for opportunities to continue to walk or to be engaged, and there's no moments where they feel that there's no place to go, which helps reduce the anxiety of our residents. Throughout the building, what we have really put a lot of focus on is the color schemes that we use, that there's a color contrast between the walls and the door so that the door is a little easier to find for the resident, that the handrail has a contrast to the wall color, again, so it's easier for the residents to find. We have our color scheme designed in a way so that the doors that we want the residents to be able to have easy access to, like their apartment rooms, we make them pop and there's that contrast, but the doors where we would prefer the residents not go to, or it's an area that they don't need to get into, we very much blend it into the wall and make it very neutral so that they bypass these doors and go to those doors that are of significance to them. With the hallway, you will see patterns throughout our communities, but they're very muted in a way that are not distracting to the residents, but it helps break up the hallway so it doesn't feel so long. Things like the color contrast between the chair and the rugs and the flooring to make sure that the residents are able to differentiate. It's important because it allows for the resident to be successful within the disease process. When a person has a brain disease, oftentimes their depth perception is impaired, so it's really important to look at what is the fabric versus what is the carpet, and it will help reduce falls. And simple things as even allowing a resident to be able to sit on their own versus needing a staff member or a family member to help them, and the importance of having that independence as long as possible.
One of my favorite spaces happens to be the dining rooms. Each level has its own dining space and an open dining room, which is kind of unusual and unique.
With the inspired dining, they have the opportunity to see the chefs, to speak to the chefs, to see them preparing the meals, to smell the foods, to hear it, and then see it come to them.
Residents go into the dining room and they may be woken up by the smell of bacon and coffee cooking right on their floor, right in their open kitchen. It really stimulates appetite, it stimulates the engagement and the experience of the residents.
I find that people respond well to natural lighting. So one of the things we really tried to do was capture that natural lighting as much as we could. One of the spaces that handles this very well is the chapel. We have a double height space with a large window in the front, and it's just a nice, bright, contemplative area.
We feel that the environment is very much stimulating cognitive ability, functionality. We have a lot of natural light that is emotionally very good for the residents. Cognitively, it seems to be stimulating them a little bit more than if there were not as much natural light. In this setting, with the right cues, the right stimulation, the right programming, residents almost seem to do a little bit better. I'm not saying that happens to all the residents, but we had a resident who came in who was walking very, very short distances, who now has started to ambulate even farther. So we just see a little bump in how they do cognitively and functionally. I think that very much has to do with the purposeness of the community that we built.
I am so amazed about how little anxiety we are seeing in our residents. For us to be able to create an environment like this that truly based on environment alone, they're not feeling closed in, they're not feeling like they're hearing no, and it's just helping them to feel more content, to improve their quality of life, just to have the best days they can have, the best moments they can have, and that's really why we're here.